In the remote wilderness of Finland, nestled deep within the ancient Karelian forest, lies the village of Karsikko. The village, with its population of just a few hundred, is surrounded by a vast expanse of dense, foreboding woods. Legends say that the forest is alive, and those who wander to for never return. It was winter, and the sun barely rose above the horizon, casting long shadows and a perpetual twilight over Karsikko. The villagers, bound by tradition and superstition, respected the forest, never venturing into its depths. They believed the forest was home to the Metsänväki, the spirits of the forest, who were both protectors and avengers. Maria, a young journalist from Helsinki, arrived in Karsikko to write a piece about rural life in Finland. She was intrigued by the village's isolation and the mysterious forest that surrounded it. The villagers were wary of her, whispering about the stranger who dared to ask too many questions. One evening, as the sky darkened, Maria met an old man named Aino in the village tavern. Aino was known to be the village storyteller, a keeper of ancient tales. With a glint in his eye and a voice that carried the weight of countless winters, Aino began to tell Maria about the forest. Many years ago, Aino began, a family moved to Karsikko from the city. Seeking solace and a simpler life, they built a cabin at the edge of the forest, despite the warnings from the villagers. One night, the youngest daughter, Aino, disappeared into the woods. Her family searched for days, but she was never found. Some say the Metsänväki took her. Maria, skeptical but curious, decided to investigate. She ventured to the edge of the forest, where the old cabin still stood, abandoned and decaying. As she stepped inside, the air grew cold, and a sense of dread washed over her. The walls were covered in strange symbols, and the floor was littered with bones, both animal and human. Determined to uncover the truth, Maria set up camp near the cabin. That night, as she lay in her tent, she heard whispers in a language she didn't understand. Shadows moved just beyond the firelight, and the air was thick with an eerie silence. Suddenly, a figure appeared at the edge of the clearing, a young girl, her eyes wide with fear. "Help me," the girl whispered, her voice barely audible. Maria recognized her from old photographs she had seen in the village. The girl was Aino. Terrified yet determined, Maria followed Aino into the forest. The trees seemed to close in around her, and the whispers grew louder, more insistent. As they walked deeper into the woods, Maria realized they were not alone. Dark shapes flitted between the trees, and the air was filled with the rustling of unseen creatures. Aino led Maria to a clearing where an ancient stone circle stood. In the center of the circle was a massive oak tree, its branches twisted and gnarled. The whispers grew to a deafening roar, and Maria saw the spirits of the forest, the Metsänväki, emerging from the shadows. The spirits surrounded Aino, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Maria felt a force pulling her towards the tree, and she realized that the spirits wanted her too. With a surge of adrenaline, Maria grabbed Aino's hand and ran. They sprinted through the forest, the spirits in hot pursuit.